Hi everybody, it's Tristan here from Evolve EdTech and welcome back to another one of our Jamboard videos looking at the 20 templates that we have created for you as part of our Jamboard e-collection, which is available on the Evolve EdTech website. Thank you so much for joining me. If this is your first time, welcome and hello. If you are a returning viewer, thank you so much for coming back. Today, we're going to have a look at another template, which is a goodie, and it's one that we probably may have used at some stage in our schooling lives or even as educators, and it is the Census Chart, identifying the senses that we might experience, that we might feel, that might be applicable to a situation, a setting, a character, a stimulus, a moment, and seeing what our students can come up with, and then using that for a piece of writing, a piece of creative work, storytelling, even designing and creating. So the Census Chart is very applicable across a lot of different subject areas, and today that's what we're going to go and have a look at. But before we head over to the Evolve EdTech website, let's just do a couple of things. If you haven't done so already, I would love it if you subscribe to our YouTube channel, Evolve EdTech. Help us grow our Evolve EdTech community. It would make me feel marvelous. Share with your friends, your family, your colleagues. It would be awesome to continue to grow my subscriber base. All right, so let's head over to the Evolve EdTech website and I'll show you where to grab the Jamboard templates if you are new to us. If you have been with us before, you'll know where to find them and you'll be able to go straight in and get the Census Chart. I'll go through, explain the Census Chart, what it is, and then I'll give you and show you some examples of some Census Charts that I've just whipped up and thought about. Some different ways that we could use it. We could definitely use this particular template from our very young students all the way up to our older students. It might look really simple, but it's all about getting our ideas down. It's all about thinking. So it's not necessarily about creating something that is complicated and really analytical. It's about getting our ideas down, like a brainstorm, essentially. So let's head to evolveedtech.com. That's where you can find our 20 Jamboard templates, evolveedtech.com, and it is scrolling down the bottom of your screen just there. So please head to the website, have a look. The website's only relatively new. It is going to be a work in progress, but hopefully there'll be lots on there eventually for you so that we can help you with your EdTech needs. So when you are at Evolve EdTech, what we're going to do is we're going to head over to the Evolve Resources tab at the top of our page here. We're then going to scroll down to our Jamboard section and head to e-collection number 1. This is where you'll find all 20 Jamboard templates in our first collection, our first e-collection, and you'll be able to download those. They come in 4 colors, which are going to be yellow, blue, red and green. Okay, they are the Evolve EdTech colors that you can see behind me. So they are available there for you. They are absolutely free and they will always be free. They will never ever cost you anything because they are here for you to use. So you'll notice that when you head into the section on for Jamboard templates, e-collection number 1, they are in an accordion style here, so you can open them individually at a time. And they are listed in alphabetical order so that they are easy to find and locate. All right, so let's scroll down here to the Census Chart. Now, the Census Chart is a really cool tool to use. And as I said, there's a whole range of ways that we can use it and we can manipulate it. So it could be creative, it could be critical, it could be analytical in a way, it could be character-based, setting-based, it could be used to create something. There's so many different alternative ways that we could use this template. Now, every one of our templates, as I mentioned, is in 4 colors. There is a brief description of what the template is for you, and then there are the links to download and make a copy of those templates for your records in your collections. Now, I've mentioned in a few of my videos, I'm advising against clicking on the links, because if I click on the links, it's going to open the link in the current tab. So if you want to go back to Evolve EdTech or you want to do something else, you're going to have to go and type it into your Omnibox, which is your address bar. It's a little bit annoying. So what I recommend you do is you go to the color of your choice. So let's maybe choose the green one here. if we right click and we go open link in a new tab, it's going to open the link up here in a new tab. So I've still got my original page open, but my document, my template, has now opened in a new tab. So I can still go back to Evolve EdTech and I can go and have a look at some of those other templates that are available without having to go back in and type it into the address bar. So as I mentioned, we're going to need to make a copy of this template so that you can use it yourself. It's really easy to do that. We just head up to our top right-hand corner. Our share button will become blue in a second. We're not clicking on that one. We're going to our 3 dots just here. I call them the magical dots because there are so many magical things that you can find behind these dots. So click on those 3 dots, and then we're going to scroll down here to make a copy. It's going to put it into our workspace, into our drive, so that we can use that again and again and again. It is available for free all the time, so don't fret if you lose it or something happens. Just head back to the website to grab the template. So once you have access to all of the editing tools that are available in Jamboard, so go ahead and manipulate this however you like, okay? Do what you need to do to make this particular template workable for your particular school and context and students. So it's pretty basic in terms of what is here. So we've got our 5 senses here. We've got sight, sound, smell, touch, and taste. Feel free to go in there and change the wording if you would prefer to call it something else. Maybe put in some symbols if you would prefer, because you've got younger children. Okay, so please feel free to go and do that. It's really easy just to insert objects and images. So if we want to include an image, we can just add the image here. If we want to include or we want to take away my text, because this is a template, we can just head down here. So we've got the circle. If we click on the arrow, we will get a whole heap of other shapes which we could just click on, and we can kind of create and make into a box to remove the text there. We can do a few other things. We can make it white, and we could make it the border white there, so you can't even tell that there is a box there that I have created. So obviously, if we're getting students to use this, they might find it and move it. So just be aware of that. Now, this template you could use together as a class, which would be really fantastic. You could get students to complete this individually, in teams, in pairs. It's completely up to you how you might like to approach this. You could very easily just go and grab our text box and just type as we go. Okay, type as we go. Okay, I'm just writing random letters here now just to demonstrate. We could also go and use the sticky note function. I do love the sticky note function, and we could put in our ideas this way into our Jamboard template and add them to our relevant section here. So we could do that. We could get the students involved as well. So maybe they're providing and they're adding sticky notes to those different senses based on the stimulus or prompt that we have provided. So there's lots of ways that we could use this. All right. So what I thought I'd do is I'll just go and show you a couple of really simple ways that I've just whipped up for us. Now, as I mentioned, manipulate this for whatever purpose you would like. So I'm going to head back to this first one, which is an image of a setting. So I've got it like a haunted house here. Okay. So maybe I'm doing a piece of writing. All right. I'm doing something to get students thinking creatively. So what are some of the things that we see? What are some of the sounds we might hear? Smells, touch, and taste. Now, you might need to work through this with the students, especially I find that the taste one is sometimes difficult for students, especially if there aren't any literal tastes. So you might need to describe and outline how taste doesn't have to be something that we literally taste. It might be a feeling in our mouths. It might be that sense, that texture. All right, so we could go and talk about taste in that manner. So you could put an image in here. I've just taken an image and I've just popped it in. It's covering up that census chart text that I've got there. So this is what I'm saying. You can do this. So if you want to use an image as a prompt, just pop it in there. I'm not going to be worried if you cover up the census chart heading. It's what it's there for. All right, so you could do that. Maybe we're looking at characters. So maybe go and grab a character. And again, what might the character see? What might the character hear, smell, touch, taste, based on a story, based on a film, based on a documentary? Okay, maybe we are creating a character. All right. Again, you could create it together. You could get your students to do it by themselves. So there's lots of ways that we could do this. Okay. The first example, we had our students talking about a setting. This time, maybe we're looking at it from the perspective of a character, or we are going to create a new character. Okay, the third one I have here, and this is what I'm saying, just by heading down. So I've just popped down here. I put in one of these elements. So I've just taken the square, all right, and then I've just added a text box over the top. So this time I've actually got a written prompt. So we haven't got the visual. This time we've got to get our students thinking based on a written prompt. So this time we're walking along a beach on a summer evening, all right? So what might we see? What might we hear, smell, touch, taste? So again, we could go in there, we could dot point it together, we could get the sticky notes, we could do it collaboratively, we could do it independently, come back together, see what we have, come up with a big list, then move on to the second part of a task. It might be writing, it might be creating, it might be drawing, it might be performing, all right? So many different things that we could do from the census chart here. So written prompts are really great. All right, the next one I have here is maybe we're talking about emotions. So maybe we're talking about our character and they're showing the emotion of anger, happiness, optimism. What's it going to look like? What's it going to sound like? What might it smell like? Okay, especially, that one might be a bit hard, but then there's the discussion, okay? What can we do to show smell, all right? Touch, taste. So maybe we're looking at this idea of emotions and what emotions we can connect with those different senses. And then again, use that to develop another piece of work. All right, the next one I have here is maybe we just talk about our classroom, okay? This might be a really great one to do at the beginning of the school year or the beginning of the term or semester, okay? Or when the kids are just getting a little bit ratty. What does our classroom look like? What's it sound like? What's it smell like? What's it, what's it feel like? And well, you might not do the taste, but hopefully we could do taste. We could talk about success. We could talk about the taste of failure, the taste of perseverance, optimism, and how we could overcome those. So you could be bringing in all of those positive, emotional well-being type aspects and talk about your learning environment, okay? So what does our classroom look like, feel like, smell like, sound like? All of those ideas using a census chart. How great is that? So we're not just using it for learning and learning in the context of creating something. We're reflecting, we're talking, we're coming up with something collaboratively together. All right, the next one that I have here is maybe we've read a story, we've watched a film, we've watched a TED Ed video, we've done something. We could put the name of the text in there and we could talk about what we saw, what we heard, what we might have smelt, what we might have touched, all right? Again, so many ways to manipulate this for whatever you are doing. So don't just think that this is an English humanities type thing. Have a think. Have a think about how you could use this particular template in your learning area with your student group. All right, one more. And this one here is an example. It might not come up here, but we could go and we could get something like a show don't tell writing prompt. All right, so we could go and get something like that, because obviously when we're showing, not telling, we're making sure that we are showing the reader what is happening rather than telling them what is happening. So rather than telling everybody today that at my house here in Australia, it's cold and rainy, it's wintertime, I will show you, okay? So I'll describe the temperature, I'll describe the warm clothing, I'll describe the jackets, maybe we've got some frost outside. So rather than telling you it's cold, I will show you it's cold through my use of the sensors. So the census chart is a really cool chart that I think you could use across a lot of different year groups all different kinds of learning areas. We could do it collaboratively, so maybe you're leading it as the teacher. We could do it independently as a single student. We could do it in small in pairs or small groups, and then see what we come up with together. So that is one really cool component of this particular template. So I'll just show you a couple of other things before we head off today. So obviously, if you would like to share this with students and maybe provide one per student in your Jam, just remember you have a maximum of 20 frames. That's what Google calls this area here, is a frame. So just be aware of that if you have more than 20 students that you would like to complete this. You can duplicate your frames, but just remember that you should duplicate before you start adding information to your template, because it's going to duplicate whatever is in the template. So I'm going to show you right now how to duplicate, and it's going to duplicate this text and this sticky note with us as well. So if we head up the top here to our frame panel and we head to our 3 magic dots, we click on those and we can duplicate our frame. So you might like to duplicate those before you start working in them if you want to go through and do this multiple times with that repetition idea. So go and duplicate first. So you can see here that we've got the sticky note and the text box in both of those frames there. All right, so just be aware of that. Now, you're probably asking, how do I share this with students? Great question. A couple of ways that we can do that. Head to our 3 dots again up here next to the share button. We can download as a PDF if you would like to, or you can download the frames as images. Then you can maybe put it into Google Slides, maybe into Google Sites, maybe into Google Classroom. You can email it to students. Whatever you would like to do, you can do that really easily by downloading and distributing to your students. So that is the census chart. It's really cool. It's really simple, but it gets the kids thinking. And I've discovered that sometimes you might find that you have more ideas in one particular sense than another, but that's really cool because that provides you with a teaching opportunity to go and say, what about this? Or what about this? And then get the students to think about those senses and thinking about what they can connect from the stimulus, from the text, the story, to those senses and what we could come up with. So that is the census chart from Evolve EdTech, one of our 20 Jamboard templates that are available for you absolutely free. All right, so before we go today, just a very quick reminder again, if you haven't done so, I would love it if you subscribe to our YouTube channel. Please subscribe. The more subscribers will make me definitely more eager and motivated to continue creating content for you. I'm going to always do it, but I would love to have more people within our community. And you can join us on our socials. We are on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. I'm a little bit more active on Twitter, but definitely come and join us and be part of the Evolve EdTech family. Well, thank you so much for staying with us and making it through another one of our videos. We've only got a couple more to go in this first series of our Jamboard templates. I hope you're learning something about some of these templates and thinking about how you could use them in your classroom. My name is Tristan. I am the person behind Evolve EdTech, and I thank you so much for joining us today for another one of our Jamboard videos. Stay tuned. There are more Jamboard videos coming soon. Until then, goodbye, everybody.